I'm Shannon Matthews. I'm the president of the Delta Alpha chapter, Theta Phi Alpha.
I'm Olivia Barker. I'm our current and also for the fall semester community service chair.
My name is Morgan Ruger. I am a newly initiated member and I was just elected corresponding secretary and junior standards representative for the fall 2017 semester.
I'm Amanda Cuomo and I'm the treasurer as well as the philanthropy and fundraising chair.
And I'm Amber Masso Johnson and I'm graduating next May.
So the mission of Theta Phi Alpha is to create close comradeship, to advance educational, social, and philanthropic interests, and leadership training to encourage spiritual development and adherence to the highest moral standards, and to promote lifelong bonds of friendship.
So through our mission statement, we follow the Suny Plattsburgh fraternal excellence model, and through that we use that as a guide for us to guide our actions here on campus. And through this presentation, we'd like to talk a little bit about the little subsections. The first aspect of the FEI model we would like to talk about is our performance as a fraternity. So as a fraternity, we have a very high GPA on this campus. Last year, we had the highest GPA for fraternity and sorority life overall, and this past semester, we had the second highest GPA for sororities overall, and we're working to get that back up. We also have had a lot of success in philanthropy this year through having different philanthropy events and posting different things, having a lot of different events, and we expect that we will have a lot more to come. We actually have an event coming up in the next 2 weeks called the Camp Out for Camp Friendship, so we can expect some more a great outcome from that.
We've been recognized not only locally but nationally for our performance as a fraternity. At National Convention over the summer, we were awarded highest GPA on campus, highest new member GPA, and excellence in philanthropy. So it's being noticed not just in Plattsburgh, but through the whole Theta Phi Alpha community.
We also have excellence in service by hosting different blood drives, participating in SUNY Plattsburgh's Day of Caring, by participating in the Plattsburgh Volunteer Firefighters Haunted House. We are required to have a minimum amount of service hours. We also are collaborating to build relationships with the Ted K Center, which is a non-for-profit organization here in Plattsburgh that we hold close to our hearts through our philanthropy, and we look to do some community service with them as well in the future.
So for standards, the model that we showed you earlier kind of defines standards as upholding fraternal community standards, and we kind of pride ourselves on using our own values to better that of the community. So some of the things that we've done are, last year we went to Theta Phi Days, which is kind of where Theta Phi chapters from all over upstate New York kind of get together and collaborate to see how we can better ourselves and better Theta Phi Alpha as an organization altogether. This past year, we have also had sisters participate in CPR trainings, which I actually did myself. There's a little picture there. We had some sisters participate in Narcan training and also Safe Haven training, so we're kind of bettering ourselves so that we can better the community altogether. Also, we have started Sister of the Month, which went to Megan because she was kind of put together our Relay for Life and held an alumni career day where we had alumni come back and kind of teach us about the real world, tell us about resumes and about interviewing. And then we also do Sunshine of the Week, where we recognize a sister who is upholding our values. And also, what's the other one? Oh, Standard Star. So we recognize a sister who really is following all of our standards to a T and being a great role model for the rest of our sisters.
We kind of look for someone that goes above and beyond that week and really shows off what it means to be a Theta Phi, a member of Theta Phi Alpha, and just really puts it out there for everyone to see.
So as fraternity women, we do have an obligation to uphold our values regularly, especially with society's perception of us. We're always wearing our letters, so we always try to represent ourselves in the best light that we can possible, no matter where we are. A lot of our sisters go abroad to study, and you can tell by some of the pictures. And they inform not just us as citizens of America, but other countries what fraternities are. And they've seen them in movies, but we kind of shed the light on what really happens. We have 6 core values. As you can see, justice, loyalty, faith, wisdom, truth, and honor. And my favorite is wisdom. Part of joining a fraternity for myself was getting to have mentors, and that's definitely what this organization has given me. And what I like to give back to the fraternity as a graduating senior. I've definitely taken a lot of electives, definitely gone through a lot, definitely had a lot of, issues with professors, excuse me. So I like to think that just because I'm leaving, I'm not really done. I'm here to guide as many members as I can. If they have any questions, I'm always open for them. And if I don't know the answer, I will definitely help them find a sister that can help them figure out their little problems.
And our national organization just revamped our values, so this is a brand new way of looking at them, and I think it was good to roll this out recently because sometimes we get caught up in all the other aspects of fraternity life and kind of the things that we have to do and stuff like that. So I think it's good to go back to our roots and why we joined Theta Phi Alpha and what Theta Phi Alpha really means and how we can live these values out in our everyday life. And really show what it means to be a Theta Phi Alpha woman, and it's these values. So I think everyone that's joined Theta Phi Alpha, whether they realize it or not, has a connection to one or more of these values that really binds us all together. The next aspect is engagement. So I think it's important to know that as a Theta Phi Alpha woman, we're not just a Theta Phi Alpha woman. We are involved in things on campus and off campus that really show that we're well-rounded individuals, that we participate in different jobs on and off campus, honor societies, different clubs and organizations, community service. We just really try and get out there to show really what we can do and that we're not limited to just being part of a sorority, but the sorority betters us and helps us to go out into the community and really show what we can do. We have a point system that allows us to engage interfraternally with the other organizations. So if they are holding an event, we have pictures here of us participating in their events, the middle one and the one in the corner there. We also just try to kind of do social events with other organizations. So that one in the corner there is we were in Vermont and we went and hung out. And so we're bringing our sorority and fraternity life to places outside of Plattsburgh and trying to show that we participate and are respectful of the community and what's around us. We have a picture down there of someone participating in the Council for Exceptional Children. They went to a conference, and so just showing that we really are trying to branch out and show what Theta Phi Alpha women can do.
So one major component of development is new member education, which I just recently completed myself. New member education is primarily done through 2-hour weekly meetings where new members will learn all about the history of the organization, the values that we uphold, and also practice putting those values into everyday use. So this is very engaging and interactive. It's not just them feeding us information and absorbing it. It's us learning how to uphold the values, talking about what they mean to us, and how we plan to carry them out in our everyday lives. In addition to this, we are also introduced to leadership opportunities. Sisters who hold current chairs will come in and talk to us about the leadership opportunities available so that new members have more of an insight of what they can achieve in the organization and how they can take that and help the community. In addition to that, we also stay engaged with members through a Facebook page we have, which connects us to both collegiate members and alum. We participated in philanthropy events like our Capture the Flag event. We also participated in some community service, sisterhood dates. So, for example, this semester, once the weather got nicer, we all went hiking together on a stable chasm, which is really just a great way for the new members to transition into the organization as collegiate sisters and start building a bond with collegiate sisters and alum.
We pride ourselves on furthering our education. It doesn't end with the new member education once you're initiated. We continue to learn and grow as sisters. We have all chairs meetings every month where all the chairs get together and kind of talk about what we need from the organization. We work on leadership strategies to better ourselves, which will in turn better the organization. We attend, that top picture in the middle is 4 of us attended a regional leadership conference over winter break, where we got together with other leaders of Theta Phi Alpha and talked about how we can better transition into our chairs and how we can better work with each other and with the fraternity as a whole to improve our chapters. And we also attend a every 2 years, we attend a national convention, which is that picture on the right there. So that is all Theta Phi Alpha chapters across the country get together for this fun-filled couple days of collaboration and just kind of getting out there and meeting different sisters and really bonding. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to our presentation and for considering us for Chapter of Excellence. If you have any questions or want us to expand on any points previously mentioned, we'd be happy to.
Questions? Hi, ladies. From my perspective, hearing you and thinking about your participation on campus and in the community and just what you're offering, I really think about you as kind of a high-performing chapter, is what I would say. Can you talk a little bit about your engagement with your chapter advisors, your faculty staff advisor, I think, as you call it here, and just other individuals on campus when it comes to collaboration?
I know we have a new faculty advisor this semester, so at the beginning we met up and kind of discussed what he wanted out of our organization, what we wanted from him, ways he could be involved. He's actually here in the back. So kind of talking about how we can work together with our faculty advisor and the chapter to really increase. So I know our vice president talked with him about a chapter development and how he can work with us to increase our chapter efficiency and stuff like that. I have meetings with Allison every couple weeks or so just to kind of talk about where we are as a chapter, if I'm doing things okay, if I have questions I can come to her with those. I like to check in to see if this is a good idea, if I should go ahead and do this, just kind of her perspective on what she thinks about things.
What about your alumni or your chapter advisor?
She's also very helpful, yeah. I text her if I have questions. She has great answers to most of my questions, and if she doesn't know the answer, she directs me to somebody who does. So she's very knowledgeable about Theta Phi Alpha, and we're all still learning. It's that continued education. I'm still learning about Theta Phi Alpha and other aspects of it, and she's been in it, so she definitely knows the inner workings. She knows the specific rules I might be fuzzy about, so if I have a question or anybody on our advisory board, e-board has a question, anybody has a question, they can text her and ask her and she'll give us the answer.
It's not just Shannon that goes to her. I think we all can vouch for the fact that she's incredibly approachable, and we can go to her for anything. It's not necessarily you have to be on e-board to talk to her. You can be not even initiated yet, and she will be willing to come and talk to you and sell you down or build you up. She's fantastic.
Yeah, speaking on that, all of the new members before we were initiated met with her individually to talk to her about anything we were feeling, if we were excited, ask any last minute questions. So she reached out to us and was super helpful in that regard.
So one thing I saw in your application is you were looking at your point system, and in particular, that you incentivize some of the mixers and the social events, and you mentioned there are sisters who don't like going to social events with alcohol, and so you're trying to find ways to better incentivize the experience for them. Can you just talk a little bit about how that discussion is going and kind of what direction you might take the point system to account for their experience?
Right now, our sisterhood events, our super socials, and our mixers are worth different point values, and mixers are worth the least amount. So if you go to more sober socials and more sisterhood events, your points will still be higher than if you don't go into any mixers. So in the slideshow, there was the picture of the Get Air with one of the organizations, so that's an example of one of our sober socials. So we went to Get Air and hung out for a couple hours just as members of fraternity sorority life, just hung out sober. So it's harder to plan sober socials, to find the time on a weekend day, a weekday to plan them, but we're really trying to do more of them because we want to make sure that all of our sisters feel included and welcome.
And we're trying to make sure that when we do sober events, that they are actually like they actually have a purpose. So we're not just like hanging out, chilling. You know, we're doing service, or we're planning an event, or you know, we're kind of using our time wisely to better fraternity sorority life in general. Whereas in the past they kind of were just to get to know people better, which we still completely want to do, but we also kind of want to take it another step further and see how we can build upon that.
To kind of build off of what Olivia said, we actually were supposed to, unfortunately it was canceled, we were supposed to participate with a different organization to do some highway cleanup. Unfortunately it was canceled, so we weren't able to do that, but to build off of like having something with purpose and doing something with service, that was something we were trying to do.
We've also been trying to plan a clean up the park with other organizations, just for a way to get out there, do some service, enjoy the day, enjoy each other's company. So.
As a Chapter of Excellence winner previously, how did you use that achievement from last year and feedback that you got to incorporate into this year's plans and goals?
I definitely looked at the feedback, and I know we can all say that we watched the video from last year trying to gauge kind of how they did it and where we wanted to go with it. We definitely tried to take the feedback and think about it and try to implement it into not only our presentation but kind of our everyday, and how we could take the feedback from last year and really push forward. But I think just looking at the feedback and the presentation and just their entire showcase as a whole kind of guided where we wanted to go.
Is there anything specific from the feedback that you can identify that you were intentional in adding into this year's work?
I know that one of our feedback was that we had a lot of support, so you can see behind you, we tried to get a lot of support. I think they would have supported us anyway if we had asked, but I think that was a big one because it shows that not only are we interested in Theta Phi, the 5 of us up here interested in Theta Phi, but all of the women sitting behind you are also interested in Theta Phi and believe in Theta Phi and know that we are a chapter of excellence. So I think that having that support back there, we could talk all day about how great Theta Phi is up here, but if you don't see it reflected in the other women in our organization, it's going to have a different meaning. So I think that was one of the biggest things, was getting support.
Any questions? No? Thank you so much for coming. We will be sending feedback to you after today.